Hi family, how you doing today? Happy Easter from D and I. And we hope that you're having a good time at home. We hope your pot of Easter jollof rice is cooked and ready to be eaten with lots of chicken. I mean, for once in a long time, for those of us whose religion it is to go to church, on Easter Sunday and then come back and, go to the movies or go to the park with our family, we don't get to do that. We're staying at home today. So, I hope you're making the most of it. And if you're at home by yourself, I hope you're also enjoying yourself regardless. All right, so I'm filming this video from my iPhone 11 Pro. Thank you, Rangers. Okay, that's not the only reason why I'm excited. I'm also excited because I'm going to be sharing an experience that happened to me last year that totally changed my life. It's an experience I never thought I would share on social media because it was so intimate and it was so precious to me that I thought, you know what, I'll just keep this to myself for life. But in recent times, God has just been placing it in my heart, and I've just had this tug on my heart to share, and I thought it would be a disservice if I did not obey. So last year, it was June the 3rd of last year, just like any normal day, I decided that day I wasn't going to go to work because, my job is pretty flexible. Some days we're out working till 4 a.m. and some other times just say, you know what, I want to sleep. So that day I thought to myself, I'm going to go to the office, get all the backup drives I have and, sort my work out so that I have, a copy of everything because, we'll go out to film and then we'll come back and just sort out the drive. So I said I was going to do that day and I'll do the same thing for all the work I've been doing over the years, just make sure everything is safe. I have a copy here and a copy there. And that's what I spend the whole day doing. And somewhere in the evening, my uncle comes to say, oh, you know what? I think you should join me to my sister's birthday dinner. And I'm like, oh, sure, I'll join you. There'll be chicken. And so we go for the birthday dinner. It was barely 5 minutes that we sat down to our pepper soup that he called us from the house to say the house was smoking up. And we were alarmed and we rushed back home. And as soon as we got to the house, the whole house was smoked up. And just as we got to the back of the house to see what was happening, we realized that my room was ablaze. It was an inferno. The kind of fire that is blazing so hard that you know that nothing is going to come out of this place. That's the kind of fire that it was. And I was stunned. I didn't know what to think at the time. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know how to react because coincidentally, I was applying to the New York Film Academy at the time. So all of my documents, my passport, everything I put together to scan them and send. So I had them right there in that room. As a matter of fact, every prized possession of mine, every material thing that I owned that was of value to me was in that room. Ladies, you know how it is, your wigs, your shoes, your bags, everything you spent years and years to buy was right in that room. And I was looking at the fire and telling myself, there's no way anything is coming out of that room. Nobody could go in the house. So they were trying to pour water into the house. And it was like the more they poured water, the angrier the fire got. And we called the fire service, and after some time they came and they put out the fire. And then we had to go assess the situation. And just like I thought, nothing survived in the room. Everything was burned. My laptop, all the hard drives, everything. All my work was gone. All my documents were gone. Everything was gone. And I didn't know how to react in that moment. I didn't know whether to cry. I didn't know whether to scream, shout. And I called my mom and said to her, this is what has happened to me. And she said, you know what, baby, it's okay to cry. It's okay, just let it out. And I cried some, but I just shut down. I literally just shut down. Because usually I'll pride myself on being emotionally strong, and when things come, when things happen to me, I'm always the first to say, don't worry, God is going to sort it out. God is working. Nothing that we cannot handle is going to come our way. I'm a faith person like that, and everyone who knows me knows that I would be the kind of person to say that. But in that moment, when you don't know, when you don't expect something of that magnitude to happen to you, you don't know how to react. So I shut down, and I didn't want to talk to anybody. I didn't want to do anything. I quit my job. I was despondent. I was at my worst state because I just could not assess it. I just could not understand how it is that God will allow this happen to me, you know. And so I just paid for a new house, got in there, and I had the craziest months of my life. Just being there, looking around, wake up, eat if I see food, if I don't see food, just, I don't know what that stage was called. I don't know if it was depression, I don't know what it was. But the one person I should have run to in that time for comfort was the one person I ran away from, because I'm like, how could you even do this to me? I trusted you. How could you even hurt me like this? And you know, I was just trying to pick up the pieces of my life. I went to Port Harcourt and spent some time as well with my family, and little by little, the pain started to subside, and I started to get my life together. Those who had worked for in the past had started to call for jobs, and I just, you know, started to pick it up. And I'm able to share this now because apparently I'm over it. But you know, the biggest battle for me in that time was not even recovering the things I'd lost. It was recovering the faith I lost, because the one thing the devil attacked at that time was the fact, it was the faith I had. It was that trust I had in God. And the moment he attacked that, everything was gone. Like, I don't trust you, Lord, so I don't trust anybody either. Nothing is working. Everything is upside down. Everything is, you know. And as soon as that was attacked, I was at my lowest state of despondence. And the only time that I regained my freedom was the day I realized that, you know what, the devil stole something from me and I gotta take it back. I'd gone to church that day and they read Isaiah 60. It didn't make sense to me. But the next morning I read it again. And you know how it is that Rema hits you. I just realized the devil has been playing with me all this time. And the one person that I've trusted the most, the one person who has said all things are working together for my good, the one person whose thoughts for me are beautiful, is the one person I had shut down in my life. And I thought to myself, thus far and no more. Now, I don't want to go into the journey of the story of, you know, how I got back on my feet and everything, but I want to share the lessons I learned from that experience. God gave me rest. Now, I'm a crazy workaholic. Anyone who knows me knows that if you have me on your project or you have me working for you, I'm the most loyal, most, I don't know how to put it, active person you'd ever have. At a point, my auntie was saying to me, your job has become an idol to you. You were just working and working and working and having no time to rest. If something was not going right at work, I was worried, I was stressed, you could see it. And in those months where I was not doing anything, I rested. God gave me rest in that time. I had the opportunity to start by myself because I'd had the thought to start up my own, you know, freelance and production company and all of that. But you know how it is that you're so loyal to something that you know that I'm not going to leave this job, you know, and just go out pursuing something I don't even know anything about. You know, how am I going to get money and all of that? But that time gave me the time to assess the situation and actually ask myself what I really wanted from life, and gave me the strength to also start. And also God gave me the grace to trust him more, which is really why I'm sharing this, because you may be at that point in your life right now where you feel like you're at your lowest end. The worst thing has happened to you. You've lost a loved one, you've lost everything you have. You're just in that headspace where you're like, God, how can this happen to me? The first thing the devil tries to fight is that trust. And if you would just say, Lord, I'm angry, I'm sad, I'm depressed, but I trust that you are still on the throne and you're working behind the scenes for me and all things are working together for my good, you've just as well as won the battle. So I'm just saying, it's not the easiest thing to do, but it is the best thing to do. And if you could just get past that point, you would see the light at the end of the tunnel, because now today we're celebrating Christ is risen and we are happy. And you know what? Just as Christ is risen, all the death situations in your life are risen as well, and everything you lost has been restored to you 1,000-fold. And if you would just trust the one who could do that, then you're in a good place. And I just thought to share this with you to encourage you that you should never allow yourself to despair or be despondent for too long, because you're making the devil happy. But just when you say to the Lord, I trust you, you make him mad. And I hope that this has helped in one way or the other. I just thought to share it. And I pray that if you are at a point in your life where, you know, you're grieving or you're sad or you're almost not trusting God, that God will give you the strength to get through it, so that you also will be a testimony. Your story will be a testimony to others as well. So have a wonderful day. Happy Easter again. I love you.